Hey folks, Bridges here. Just wanted to make a couple of quick videos to help you with the box making process for the current challenge. I think it's project 141 that we're working on. Anyhow, I'm going to make just a very simple box, just a regular cube that we're going to hollow out. It's going to have a hinged lid that does this type of motion, and it's going to be two separate pieces, which is different from the traditional clamshell, like you get from a to go box from a restaurant, or this right here. This dial caliper case is actually just one piece of plastic that's molded and made as the one piece. If you were going to do this, you'd make it as just one piece on fusion like this. And the way they get it to fold in the middle is just some very thin portions engineered in right here and right here. So that way it's going to, when you provide that force, it's going to basically fail in those weaker areas, but it's designed to do that. Okay. So if you're going to create this type of box, this video is not for you. If you're going to create a box with two separate hinged, a separate lid and a box with an actual hinge rotating in there, then this video is for you. Okay, real quick, let's open up Fusion. And we're going to start by creating, this is called a primitive. Instead of doing a new sketch, we're going to just go straight down here to box. And we're going to create a new box on the base surface. It wants me to click once to start my starting point and then move my mouse. And I'm going to make my box a simple 3-inch. Hit tab to go to the width and make 3 inches wide as well, and then enter. Now I'm going to extrude it up a distance of, I don't know what I'm looking for here, but maybe let's call it 2 inches. Give it a good 2 inches. All right, so from here, we haven't done this in class yet, but it's a fairly simple process. We've just simply got one body, as we can tell over here in our bodies folder. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to place a construction plane. We have used construction planes, specifically offset planes. I'm going to place a plane on top of the box, and then I'm going to sink it down a half an inch. So I'm going to come down a distance of negative 0.5, and that puts an imaginary plane slicing through my box here. So at this point in time, I'm going to use this feature up here called Modify. This is called Split Body. So I'm going to go ahead and split this solid body, which I have one of. So I'll select it. Now I'm going to choose my splitting tool with this picker, and I'm going to choose this construction plane as the splitting plane. I'm going to click OK. And now what we've just done is we've split our one body into two bodies now. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and turn off my construction plane, that ugly yellow plane. And I can go ahead and turn off my lid body as well. So I'm just looking at the box part. Okay, at this point in time, let's go ahead and start our hinge. And we're going to do that by sketching on the side view of our box. Okay, just to keep things simple, we'll just do a couple of circles based on the corner here. I'm going to do one at 0.125, which is going to be where the pin goes through. And then I'm going to do another circle, concentric, sharing the same center, a 0.25, twice as big. And I'll move those dimensions out of the way so they're not confusing me. All right, so now that we've got our two circles sketched, we're going to go ahead and say Finish Sketch. And we're going to extrude that circular ring shape all the way through this part. So to do that, we'll extrude. We'll choose this ring shape. And instead of coming out this way, let's actually join it across this way. That same width, if you recall, the width was 3 inches. And it is saying it's a negative distance this time. So we're just going to call it negative 3 inches. And we'll just verify that, yes, it is in fact joining to what we previously had. So we'll say OK. Now the only thing that bothers me is this little sharp edge is still in here where we would want our hinge pin to go. So what we're going to do is we're going to extrude again Okay, but it's our sketch is gone. So that's because we've already consumed or used that sketch. It's still there, and we can find it, and we can reactivate it by going over here in our browser to sketches. Let's open that side arrow to open the folder, and let's turn on that sketch, which was turned off when we used it the first time. So now we are again going to extrude. Let's make sure that sketch 2 is visible, and we're going to extrude this little portion in here. We're going to extrude, and instead of adding again, we're going to remove that. And since there was already an object there, when I go this way, it's turning red, which means it's a cut, which is what we're looking for here. So let's go ahead and cut that same distance of a -3" cut extrude, and it should remove that, and it does. Well, that's pretty nice. We can go ahead and say we're done with that sketch now, so we can turn that off, and we are almost done with this bottom portion of the box. The only thing I want to do now is I want to slice this tube into so it's not solid all the way across. And this will make more sense when we do the same thing for the lid. All right? So the most simple type of hinge I can think is half of this tube is going to remain on the bottom portion of the box, the main portion, and then the other half we're going to remove, which will be connected to the lid portion. Probably not the best hinge design in the world, but it's going to resemble what's actually shown right here in the symbol. You can see that where half of the tube is on the bottom and half the tube is on the lid part. All right, so to do that, we're going to use a construction plane once again, and we're going to put the plane offset of this face. So we're going to choose to put it on this face, and then we're going to move it back using the little arrow. We're going to move it back halfway the width of the object, which is, since it's 3 inches wide, halfway the width would be -1.5, wouldn't it? -1.5 inches. That does put a line in the center. So we'll say enter, and oh, it gave me an error. Oh, that's because I had previously turned off the construction planes. Okay, instead of turning off all construction planes, what I should have done was opened that folder and turned just plane 1 off, which is what I've now done. So now I can see plane 2. That's where I'm going to slice this portion right here. So again, remember when I said we were done with the sketch 2? We actually weren't. Let's go ahead and edit this. Well, how are we going to do this? Let me think for a second. Let's go down and look at my timeline. Okay, I started with a box. I split it. Okay, then I sketched on this surface the circle, and I extruded once as the tube and then once as removing. Okay, let's go back in here and actually edit both of those extrudes. You see where I'm down here in the bottom? Let's actually, instead of making them go the full width across, let's just make them go a width of 1.5. So I will right click on both of those extrudes, and I will go to edit feature, and I'll bring that back a distance of just 1.5. Forgot to put negative, didn't I? So there we go. Cool with that one. And I'll do the same, and it comes up to meet my plane. That makes sense. I'll do the same with the second extrude. Okay. Now that's a cut, so we want to leave that as it is. What that means is it's actually removed that corner right there, and that's going to be fine. We want that to be removed the whole time. So I think we're ready here, folks. I'm going to go ahead and go back to home. I'm going to say okay, and we're ready for video number 2. Please join me there to see how I do the hinged lid. Thanks for watching.